the two speakers from Chile back to the screen to ask them a quick question. So perhaps I would like to ask Mr. Guido Gonzalez from the Gloria back to the screen and ask a quick question. Perhaps this is as simple as much as a big question, but what do you think is an important point in forming a JCM project to make it, especially to make it a successful project? Anything that comes to your mind will be great for the audience. But since we're running out of time, if you could make it brief, that will be very much appreciated. Go ahead.
Okay, bueno, lo importante en este tipo de proyecto es...
Right, the most important thing in this type of project is that since it's a technology project, it involves a lot of education for different authorities that are involved, as well as the communities. The goal is that we need to inform about our project to the rest of the parties, so we can obtain the authorization, the studies, the development, and the budget, because working with waste and residue is always complicated, at least over here in Chile. So we require a lot of work in that instance. So we need to persevere and to pay very close attention to every aspect so we can obtain that financing. It's a part of the risk when a bank sees a project that is not very traditional. So we also need to create partnerships with the parties. So that would be some of the most important factors that we have had to develop.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I think that's a very great point of making sure that you get authorities and people living in the region to sort of consent and approve that project, especially because JCM is a Japan and Chile partnership project. I think it's a very important point to note. Thank you again. And perhaps lastly, I'd like to invite Ms. Bárbara NEIRA back to the screen. Just a quick question about your initiative and perhaps how JCM and your initiative can sort of work together. You mentioned that there are quite a number of hydrogen-related projects in Chile. How do you see, perhaps what are some of the challenges that the JCM might be able to address, and especially perhaps JCM's goal is to introduce technologies. Are there any technologies that you'd like to see JCM sort of introduce or help sort of push or introduce in Chile? Maybe that's two questions, but you can also, if you could also make it brief, that would be much appreciated. Thank you. Go ahead.
Sí, por supuesto. Yo creo que
absolutely. I would say that the capacity that JCM has in this industry is to meet the needs of early funding for pilot projects. I think this is substantial, so we can test new technologies in hydrogen, and also so we can help different producers and suppliers, so Chilean companies can use technologies that had been tested maybe in Japan or maybe other countries. So from the point of view of funding, that is the main goal, and it will help us a lot to bring down some barriers that we have been facing, and also the possibility of providing support for more technological support, projects.
Great, thank you very much. I hope some of the audience will take your input and insight and put it into practice and use it to apply for JCM program. So thank you very much again for sharing your insight and coming back to the screen. And